This is the site of the first European settlement in Ontario, in the lands of the Wyandot people, a land called Wadaki, the land apart. In 1648, there were 66 Frenchmen that lived here, and it was a fifth of the population of New France. But disease and constant attack by the Iroquois set the stage for the burning of the mission in 1649 and the murder of Canada's first martyrs. And it marked a big change in society and the culture of the Great Lakes and eventually North America. We're on the south shore of Georgian Bay at Ste. Marie among the Hurons in Midland, Ontario. I'm Chuck.
I'm Poppins.
The channel's Restless Viking. Let's explore this history. It's 1610, and an Etienne Burlet was welcomed by the Wyandot people. He called them the Hurons, and he spent a year with them, learning their language and their culture, and at the same time convincing them to trade furs with the French. And in 1615, we get a flavor for what it was like to be a Wyandot from Samuel de Champlain. He describes 18 villages with 13,000 people living in the land. He even describes a long cabin that had many fires and 24 families living in it. Then the Jesuits came in the 1630s, and they were on a mission to bring the word of God and to create converts. And the indigenous people were really a tough sell, because they would say, why would I want to go to heaven? No one I know is there. My ancestors aren't there. But they brought something else too. They brought a great pestilence of unknown origin, which was actually smallpox probably, and other European diseases. And this caused distrust between the Jesuits and the indigenous people of the area, and especially the Iroquois, which were so incensed because they believed the pestilence was brought by the Jesuits that they started attacking them and the Huron converts. But the Jesuits pushed forward their mission of bringing the word of God, and in 1639, with only a handful of Jesuits and French lay people, they built the first building, which eventually became Ste. Marie among the Hurons. So even though they built this stockade, for 10 years, the Iroquois continued to attack the Jesuits and the Huron. So the harassments and attacks by the Iroquois continued, and they culminated here at Awabashan, one site of martyrdom.
It was 1649, and Father Brebeuf and Father Lament were brought here by the Iroquois. They were killed by use of boiling water and fire by stake.
With Father Brebeuf and Father Lament dead, their Wyandot allies brought the bodies back to the mission. Their skeletons were stripped of their flesh to keep as relics, and their remains buried. And with another Iroquois attack imminent, they decided to abandon and burn the mission. So after burning the mission, they retreated there to St. Joseph Island, now Christian Island. And they faced a winter of starvation. And finally, in the spring, they returned to Quebec City. And the relics of the murdered fathers began a religious journey toward canonization with the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church eventually constructed Martyr Shrine across the street from the abandoned mission, and in 1992 the relic of Brebeuf's skull arrived back home at the shrine.
In 1925, Father Filion had a vision for a more substantial remembrance, so he purchased this farmland here. He acted as an architect, engineer, and foreman. He hired 50 shipbuilders to build the shrine. So Father Filion wanted both groups, the Europeans and the natives, to feel welcome. So he planned the outside as a Belgium Gothic revival style. And on the inside, he had an inverted canoe design modeled after a native's longhouse. In 1930, Pope Pius held a ceremony mass in Rome, canonizing these 8 martyrs. And here, everyone gathered at the 12th station of the cross to commemorate the canonization of these martyrs.
for 3 centuries, the mission lay abandoned, and was referenced a couple times as some old French ruins, but then in the 1950s they started archaeological digs, and now they've recreated the mission. And we're gonna go check out First Light of Christmas celebration there. So this is the main gate that we're gonna head into. Up here is the northwest palisade. Leads up to an overlook of the river.
Okay, so this is a maple syrup log. They would put the sap inside and then take hot rocks and put it in the sap to boil it off.
That's the best part.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah, no problem. Happy holidays, guys. Enjoy your visit.
That's the best.
Oh yeah.
So obviously the lighting's not very good for GoPros, but over there is the Jesuit residence. And here is the church, which tonight is a music hall. Let's go inside.
Yeah, get up and go whenever you want, stay as long as you want, sit wherever you want, do whatever you want.
Now, you know how they got here, do you?
They were martyred.
Scraped the flesh off the bones and reverently put it back in the ground, then took the bones and wrapped them in blankets and took them with them as they went running to Georgian Bay onto rafts over to Christian Island.
So we just had a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for me to stand with Father Pat from the Martyrs Shrine in the old Church of the Fort, and we were by the grave of Father Brebeuf, who was martyred here.
I was so impressed with his dedication to the world and making it a better place.
Those who are brave enough to pick up a drum tonight, we're not going to do that double beat because it's a little bit tougher to pick up, okay? We're going to do a single straight beat, so you're going to follow me. Thank you all for coming to First Light, and until we see each other again, we say Bama Pico Wabman, until we see each other again. Miigwech.
Miigwech.